We were in civilian ministry for a long time, probably 12 plus years. And really in almost an audible voice one day, God said, I want you to be an Army chaplain. And I was like, I think you've got the wrong person on the phone here. You know, I'm in my 30s, I have no prior military experience, we know nothing about the Army. And so we prayed about it as a couple and felt like this is what God wanted for us as a family. So we started the paperwork process, and about a year later, I reported to Chaplain Basic at Fort Jackson. And that was tough because it was 3 months alone, away from my family. We started off right off the bat away from each other.
You know, he said, Katie, this is not just for my good, but this is for your good, you know, and this is for our children's good, and the Lord works together for the good, you know, and it just really has stuck with me that even in the hard times, you know, that this is what we are called to, and it's been humbling.
Yeah.
And challenging, you know, to leave home and the things that you take for granted.
You see it all, you know, in the military. You see the great stuff that comes along, just the camaraderie that goes on with our job, because we are doing things that a lot of people never will have to experience, you know. But on the back end of that, a lot of that comes through doing really hard things, seeing really hard things, going through really tough times, losing people that, you know, are way too young to be lost. But I think back, you know, to that statement, you know, light shines brightest in the darkness. And I think the darker and harder the situations, the brighter, you know, the light of Christ shines. And so I think when, you know, your unit has a tragedy, when you're going through some tough times, a guy comes in that's going through a really dark time personally, and you're able to shine that light, it's really an eye-opening experience and really draws people to the goodness of the Lord. So I think, you know, nobody wants to go through those hard times, but they are really a testament to how good God is when you're going through them. One thing that I really appreciate about ministry in the Army is thinking back to my civilian pastor time, I really saw my people on Wednesday nights and Sunday mornings, and that was it. After that, everybody was out to the four winds. Whereas now in my unit, I see these guys all day, every day. Matter of fact, I usually see them more than I see my own family. And so they do become family because you're elbow deep with them in work all the time. So it's really neat to have that front row seat to their lives and walking with them. Like I said, usually 6, sometimes 7 days a week. All of our guys are outdoorsmen. You gotta be. You're in the woods all day, every day. If you don't like the woods, the Army is not the place for you. And so these guys love being in the woods. And so it's very therapeutic for them to get out of the grind for a little bit and go fish or go on a deer hunt or whatever else Operation Resolute is doing for us. But like I said, it's never about the event itself. You know, it's never about the fishing or the hunting. It's about the connecting we do while we're there. And then the doors for ministry that opens up for me later after the trip is over. These guys feel like they know me on a deeper level now. I know them, and they trust me enough to come and talk with us later on about important things. And so it's been essential in the depth of my ministry with my guys.
Think about Matthew 9:37. You know, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. I mean, Chad's the only chaplain for hundreds of soldiers, and that also means their families call Chad their chaplain too, and that's just that doesn't work. The math does not add up. And so Operation Resolute comes to Chad and comes to chaplains and says, what can we do to help you make a difference in your ministry so that you don't grow weary? So you have somebody to support you emotionally. I mean, I feel like part of Operation Resolute is just to help a chaplain stand strong and to help them walk the path the Lord has called them to do, just to stand beside them and to help them with their ministry because it's just more than a chaplain can take on effectively.
I really very much view Operation Resolute as a partnership. They're as invested in taking care of my guys as we are. And so they just don't form a connection with me. They form a connection with Joel or Lee or whoever else is out on these trips with us. And a lot of times they'll continue calling or emailing these guys way after the trips are over.
Operation Resolute just does a great job of helping soldiers spiritually, and just to let them know that they are important and that they have value and that their families have value.